So, a few weeks ago, earlier this month, I put out a video talking about how I believe Nintendo probably has a big Zelda remake in the works. And apparently, I might have been onto something, because we now have a rumor coming from a pretty good source that a Zelda remake may be on the way. And the strange part is that they said for 2023, which seems odd, but maybe after I go over everything here, it might make a little bit more sense. And that's what we're talking about today. Welcome everyone, this is Andre's Restart, and this time we are talking about apparently a Zelda remake that Nintendo is hiding. Now, as I noted earlier, I've been making the argument that Nintendo probably is working on a big Zelda remake, and if you want all the details, you can watch that prior video, but the basic gist is a few different points. One, Grezzo, a development team that has worked on a number of different Zelda projects, is probably working on another project right now. We don't know what it is, but they're working on something most likely. Two, there was an Ocarina of Time HD remake rumor not so long ago as well, and it's been so long that people are thinking it's probably not true, but it could just be the case that Nintendo has simply taken their time with revealing this project, as they've done with other projects like Mario Wonder and Metroid Prime Remastered. And then thirdly, simply looking at the history of things, when Nintendo ends a generation with a major Zelda game, the next system usually has a new Zelda that showcases the hardware in some way less than 2 years into that life cycle, very early on. A year and a half at most, really. So with all this in mind, I've been thinking that there's a great chance that a Zelda remake is probably coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, the next system that's coming out reportedly next year, fairly soon, if not next year, sometime in 2025. Which I also think makes even more sense given that since Tears of the Kingdom has just come out, we're going to need some other Zelda goodness fairly soon. But then of course there's also the reports and rumors of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD. They're supposed to come to Switch at some point or another. Now I don't consider those remakes, I consider those remasters, but that is a part of this conversation as well. So what's going on here? Why are we talking about this today? Well, if you haven't heard, Dr. Ciron Toto put out another interesting little tease or hint. He tweeted out ZR 2023, and what people have taken this to mean is Zelda Remake 2023. Now there are some problems with this. One, we are entering the near end of the year, and two, he has since deleted the tweet. So what does this mean? I'll be getting into that. But before I do, let me simply remind you all that we are aiming to reach 50,000 subscribers. So if you do enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and enjoy the ride as we talk about Nintendo every day. So firstly, Dr. Ciron Toto is considered to be a reliable person who has inside information. They are the CEO of Kanton Games, a Japanese game industry consultancy, as well as an advisor for various other companies. And Ciron Toto actually has teased a Zelda project before. So if we go back to the year 2021, when Nintendo posted their E3 Direct that they're going to showcase, Dr. Ciron Toto shared this tweet out and said, Z2 22. And many took this to mean Zelda 2, or a sequel to Zelda. At the time, we just knew it as Breath of the Wild 2, coming in the year 2022. Now, some of you may be saying, okay, well, sure, referring to Zelda 2 as Breath of the Wild 2, which we now know as Tears of the Kingdom, that's fine, but it came out in 2023, not 2022. Yes, but this was back in summer of 2021, and Tears of the Kingdom did have a 2022 release schedule. However, Nintendo did eventually delay it. They announced that delay, and it came out May 2023. And we now know that the game was actually fairly close to complete, but they decided to sit on it for a year and polish it up. Point being, Dr. Ciron Toto's tease was not off. It was on point. Nintendo did eventually tell us that Tears of the Kingdom would be coming in 2022, so he was telling us legitimate information. And now he's saying ZR 2023. This matches up. The style in which it's being hinted at, it's all the same. But there's a few things to take into consideration here. One, the tweet has been deleted. So what does this mean? Was he wrong? Was it just posted temporarily? Well, I will tell you, the initial tweet where he said Z2 2022, I can't find it anymore. It's gone, it seems. So it may be the case that he puts out this information briefly, causes a little blip, gives us that little bit of material to discuss and get excited about, but hides it because, well, it's info that maybe he doesn't want to just have on the record there moving forward all the time. And maybe also deleting it adds to the conversation, the excitement a little bit more as well. But it's possible he did delete the tweet because he was mistaken. Now, this tweet didn't last very long, so maybe he put that out and someone reached out to him and said, hey, that's not actually happening, you shouldn't put this info out there. Or it's just meant to stir the pot, or maybe there's just something we're not interpreting correctly here. ZR 2023 doesn't necessarily mean he's saying it has to come out in 2023. Because we're talking about this, it's October 30th. It's unlikely that Nintendo would announce a Zelda remake and for it to come out this year. When is that gonna happen? We're running out of time. They have not even announced this project yet. It's hard for me to believe that it'll be coming out soon when there's not even any more planned general directs for the year, most likely. Well, it's possible that this could be a tease for a project that is coming, but the timing is simply off, and maybe we do see that Zelda remake on Switch 2 maybe sometime next year or in 2025. And what that Zelda remake might be, there's a whole bunch of possibilities. There's a lot of Zelda games that if they were to be actually remade, not just remastered, it could be pretty darn exciting. But a couple Zelda remasters that have been rumored, as we mentioned earlier, is Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD. Maybe he's referring to these, which I think would be perhaps a bit off, but maybe not, because he said ZR. He didn't say remake, he said ZR. People are making the assumption that the R stands for remake. It could be remasters. And it may be the case that something like a Twilight Princess or Wind Waker HD can be shadow dropped, because these are games that have been around since the Nintendo GameCube, and they were remastered on the Wii U, and people have been clamoring for them to come to the Switch for years. These are the kind of games that if Nintendo were to come out with something else this year, they would make sense because they've been known for a long time. They may not have any significant changes. It may just be a thing where they're like, hey, Zelda fans, guess what? Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD, you can download them straight from the eShop today. Like, they could do that. Maybe this is something that is being saved for a Game Awards announcement. Maybe they want to have some sort of Zelda goodness, and perhaps they'll announce these at the Game Awards at some point leading up into the nomination part for Tears of the Kingdom, so they can have some sort of Zelda news in tandem with this celebration of how good Tears of the Kingdom is, and perhaps it also winning an award or two, maybe even Game of the Year. This I can see. So maybe ZR 2023 does not mean a Zelda remake will be announced this year and it comes out sometime in the future. Maybe it means a Zelda remaster or two is coming out in 2023, and those would be Twilight Princess, Wind Waker HD. Both of these are possibilities, and I'll even go as far as saying both can still happen at the same time. If we get one, doesn't mean we won't get the other. Because we do get Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD here late into the Switch's life cycle, that doesn't change the possibility that Grezzo may be working on another Zelda project. And it also doesn't change the idea that Nintendo may want to have a big Zelda remake of some kind early on for Switch 2 to showcase that system, since they don't have a brand new Zelda ready since they just came out with Tears of the Kingdom. Both of these things can happen. I think there's plenty of reason to think that more Zelda projects are on the way. Before Tears of the Kingdom skipped 2022, we were getting something major Zelda related every single year. I think we should expect pretty much something Zelda almost annually. So Zelda fans, I think we just have to be a little bit patient, but something good is coming soon, and maybe it's so soon that before the end of the year we're hearing about something else. But we shall see. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. This is Andres Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care.